Like when you're really good at something, to give yourself permission to be really bad at something, even the same thing, same material, to give yourself permission to start over is hard. And I had 2 small children that I left behind with my then husband. It's 5 and 8 years old for me to go take that residency. And I almost didn't take it because I just couldn't, it was like against something wrong about this idea of leaving my kids, even though they'd be well taken care of. But a friend said to me, you have 2 daughters. What do you want to model to them? That they can't live without you for 6 weeks? Or that their mother is a woman and she's valued in the world and she's going to take this opportunity to develop herself. So, well, put that way, it's kind of obvious, you know. So I went, and it was amazing to have a 5 and an 8-year-old and to actually be away for 6 weeks where you could finish a thought, where you could go wherever you wanted to go, whenever you wanted to go, without checking in with 3 people. Oh my God, it was really like, this is amazing. So I got to start. I had a good start, and I promised myself 4 things. To take that it was a privilege, but it was a sacrifice, right? So to make it worth my while, to really do this thing, I said to myself, let's see if I can remember all 4. I wouldn't do anything I'd done before. If I was going to get somewhere in 6 weeks, I have to not do anything I've done before. I have to stay open to everything. I wouldn't try to impress anyone because they were giving me the residency. I was the first American to get it from NCECA. And I felt like I had to do some kind of fancy footwork or something impressive and make them know that they picked the right person. No, that wasn't allowed. This intuitive side of me just came forth and said, no, none of that. You don't have time for that. You make something impressive, it's something you've done before, so stop. This is all new. And then the 4th was that there would be no rules other than these 4. So I kept seeing things that I wanted to draw when I was there. But I didn't draw. I wasn't a person who knew how to draw. So I made marks for many years. I could make really wonderful marks in pattern making and understood about 3-dimensional form and how to decorate it through pattern, but not through illustration, not through rendering images. And so again, it's like this idea of being really good at something and then being willing to be terrible. And so it's an invitation from psyche. It's an invitation from spirit. How much do you want this? You know, enough to put aside your ego. You know, enough to put aside being good, because you know it's going to look like crap for a while before it can be good. It has to. And so there was a day in Australia where I was like, I really wanted to draw these magpies. And I was afraid. I was just afraid of being terrible, I think, you know. It sounds so silly now because I've grown older and more mature. Like I don't care so much about that now, you know. But I was debating with myself when this magpie walked into the building. It literally hopped into the building, and it hopped all the way around that hand building room, and it stopped at my door, and it cocked its head and it looked at me. And so I just remember thinking, oh my God, like if I ever needed a sign, there it is. You know, there's the freaking bird is in the building. Like when does that happen? And then it just cocked its head back and it marched on it just hopped right out of the studio, right back out into the courtyard. So I started to draw them. I thought maybe they'll be like folk art, kind of nascent and innocent in some way. That was the trick I had to play on myself so that I would just begin. It pains me to say all this in a way because it's like, why is it so hard? Like this internal struggle with ourselves, you know? I say it out loud though, and I let you record it because I think I'm not different than anyone else, you know? And if it inspires somebody else, then it's worth sharing, you know? To just do it, like who cares?